I'll tell you what I'm nosing right now. I'm getting a candied orange peel. I'm getting a candied citrus. That's, for whatever reason, that's what I'm nosing today.
A caramel apple.
Caramel apple. And some nice spice in there as well.
It tastes like Woodford.
Thank
I
you.
mean, Woodford does have
good stuff.
a definite profile, and it's a combination. I mean, of the environments, the pot still only, but yeah, it's a traditional Woodford taste. And it's very consistent. Seems like whenever I taste it.
That's what we strive for, is consistency. So why don't we hold the double oaked for last, since we're going to go into the barrel sampling.
Yeah.
And Katie can tell us about this wonderful rye whiskey.
Yes. So you guys are probably very well aware rye is very popular right now. A lot of rye on the market are that 90, 95, 100% rye. Our rye is at 53% rye. I know. I just had a group of...
Because I like bourbon for that reason, the corn and the sweetness.
Right.
And when I drink too much of rye, it's too spicy.
oh.
So I love your
Yep.
50, barely call it rye.
Exactly. And we do that for the historical significance. Actually, gosh, how long ago has it been now? 6 months ago, we found the old journals of LeBroy and Graham in the Gristmill House, which you guys passed coming in. We're doing construction on that. And they had their recipe written down. They had 51% rye that was made here in 1913.
Wow.
So that kind of justifies why we're doing this.
And you just now discovered it?
It was actually in the pinch pile.
Yeah, there were
So I was like,
Oh my God.
we were like, what are you doing?
Everybody's dying to find out what mash bill recipes were used back then. They want to
Exactly,
replicate that
yeah.
kind of traditional and see what it's.
Yeah,
And
so
y'all
we're
found
very
it.
happy to find it, and it's
Yeah.
in our archives now.
Yeah, but we use the watermill recipe, which is a old brown Fulman rye recipe, as the inspiration for this, and that was made in Brown Forman. And then when Katie found the old ledger books, it's just like,
Wow.
damn. I mean, it's one thing to say we're using an old recipe, which we were, but to know that it's almost the same as the recipe that was being used here.
Right.
That was bread, butter on the
Yeah.
bread. It's like, yes,
It validates us.
you know, the old
Sure.
old Western style rye whiskeys.
So definitely spice forward. It does have spice in it, even at that 53%. 53% rye, 33% corn, 14% malted barley.
Here's the rye whiskey
I
flavor.
think the barley shines through in this as well, really.
Yes, the more barley, as we said,
Oh, yeah.
gives us more.
Definitely a nutty character to it.
You're right.
Your
There's a little bit of, you can tell a little bit of malt in there.
So we get the big grain note, the malt, and then the spice note is quite large. But again, it's Woodford. We got our special barrel, so you got in this heat cycling, so you got the sweetness, and we still have the long fermentation for the fruit, and you get the wood notes. And see how that's different.
So you broke up into the 5 segments, right? The
Yes.
5 sources
That's
of.
how- there's the bourbon, and you'll see the bourbon's very balanced.
Yeah.
And then we see the skew towards spice with the rye.
They're all there, just broken up in different segments. Yeah, some honey notes, tea leaves. Nice little apple note too.
I think you've managed to maintain the profile of Woodford in the rye, just as in the same way as you have the bourbons.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't taste like there's some of the obviously the ryes that are out there that are just aimed at spice. Bomb. This is a bourbon drinker's rye.
Right.
And it's doing very well for us. It's not a large volume play by us because we can't make a lot of it. And we're selling all we can make, which is good. It's about a 40,000 case business for us, which is great, and it will be growing because we have been making more gradually over time. And we've been making rye whiskey,
Making it.
yeah, for 12, 13 years now. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But just released it 5 years ago. Right?
Yeah, so 96, 2012, 2015, 2018.
Yeah, I remember when the rye hit the market. When about